Like,
Yeah.
just stop. Just stop. Just stop it. Um, the next thing I wanted to talk about was really interesting to me was The Rock being called a coward. I didn't think I would see this based on who said it. Granted, this person has always been outspoken,
Yeah.
but it wasn't on my bingo card. Looking at Variety, shout out to Zach. It says Dwayne Johnson slammed as a coward for staying quiet on politics. I had mixed feelings about this at first, but I feel like I have a stance now, and I will share in a sec. But basically, it goes. Dwayne Johnson is catching flack on social media after he told Esquire magazine earlier this month that he will no longer speak publicly on politics. Right after that, the Star Trek icon, George, how do you say his last name?
Takei.
Takei?
Takei.
Okay. Takei is one. He criticized them. He was saying silence is complicity, which I agree. He said, so disappointed to find out that he is such a coward. And some other actors kind of chimed in as well. Johnson, who's currently embarking on a global press tour for live action Moana, which I understand why he wouldn't want to be talking about political stuff right now, considering that film's about to drop. He said his goal is to bring this country together. This is where it was a red flag to me.
Yeah.
He said, I believe in that. There will be no endorsement at this level of influence. I will keep my politics to myself. It is between me and the ballot box. He said, what I've learned through experience is that I need to keep or need and want to keep my mouth closed, essentially. The main thing for me is that in the morning, I swing my legs out of bed. I run towards the things that I run towards is creating. It's art. It's storytelling. I've learned I'm going to keep my politics to myself. There are moments when there's nothing we can't talk about. If I'm wrong, I'll tell you that I'm wrong. And if I feel that I got a leg up and this is the right way to go, I'll share that with you. But politics is omnipresent. It's forever. I don't like it. I hate it at all times. I hate the slinging and the basically the infighting and all this other stuff is why he doesn't want to say anything.
What a beautiful word salad he created.
Correct. And that's not me skipping over words. He actually said it that way.
Things.
And, they talk about how certain other actors and actresses have been under fire for the same things. So one of the reasons why I was hesitant to say anything about it, well, actually, let me save what I'm going to say. Let me let somebody else start. Shell, how do you feel about this?
I think to be an actor is ultimately you are going to, and they reference in the article, another act or an actress, Jennifer Lawrence, and how she kind of had her stance kind of similar to The Rock, but still in a way taking a stance. But I think in order to be an actor, what you're producing is going to be not all the time, but there's going to be some kind of stance or a statement that you're trying to make.
Right.
And to not have a statement about certain things, especially things that I don't think people's livelihood is political. I think that's a human thing. I think that is a humanitarian thing. Some stuff, sure, like, okay, it's like if you don't like something as trivial as you prefer hamburgers over hot dogs, okay, cool. But like if it's something that people don't deserve to live a certain way or love a certain way or even be alive in this or live in this country, or their rights are being revoked, or they're not getting access to a fair trial or a fair just fair access to, okay, should you even be here? It's no longer political, it's now moral. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
And I think a lot of these people at the risk of they don't want to lose their platform, they don't want to lose their influence, they don't want to lose their access, they don't want to lose their finances or their resources. They would rather shut up and dribble, so to speak, than make a stance. And something that's really stuck with me when I was in ministry was sitting on the fence. You've already made your stance.
Yeah.
And sitting on a fence, you've already chosen a side. And it is dangerous when people say, well, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to get too political. I don't want to blah, blah, blah. Well, now you have chosen the side of the oppressor. Or now you've chosen the side of the people who are going to do something that's morally bankrupt, when you just sit by and something is wrong and you don't stand up and speak up about it.
Right.
So I feel like that is very frustrating. It's very sad. And a lot of these companies do have sway over the actors and actresses and the people that are involved. Because it's like, yeah, now they're not getting, now they're blacklisted, you know? But I think it's important that that people collectively recognize, no, this is wrong and it needs to be spoken up about. And not even so much it needs to be spoken up about, but I think when people voice their stances, it encourages other people who have a different perspective or maybe even a different stance to come to the table, and now we could actually have conversations that orchestrate and bring a possibility for a better change. So, yeah.
What about you, Tess?
Yeah, I think he dumb for that.
Real dumb.
Because like I don't know how the conversation was going, you know, like, but then for him to just be like, yes, I don't talk about politics anymore. It kind of sounds dumb. Like, why? How did it get there to the, you know, when what do they say, like a hit dog will holler or something like that? Like, you know, it's like, hey, why are you saying this at all? It's like when somebody says something about, I don't know, it's about like, well, I don't smoke. And then people are like, nobody was talking about smoking right now. What are you saying? Hey, hello? So again, I don't know how their little conversation was going in their little interview or whatnot, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know what forced him to say, oh, I'm no longer going to talk about politics because, you know, I want to bring this country together. The country is already divided. And just like if you're going to sit there and say, or if you're going to sit there and say, well, what I say is not going to bring us together, then it wasn't that important anyway. I'm trying to say it in a manner in which if you're sitting there choosing to say that I'm no longer going to speak my feelings on this because it's going to add to the divisiveness, it makes me question, like, is that actually the thing? If you're saying that it's just going to make things worse, then you're probably saying shit. Okay, because you believe,
right.
I'm assuming that he believes his feelings are good. His feelings would actually bring us together. But no, you know that what you're saying is trash then. So if you feel that what you're saying is going to tear us further apart, then you believe the shit.
Or rather, because I see what you're saying, is mostly like if your stance is good, then your concern shouldn't be on whether or not it's splitting anything up because your stance is good. The idea that like I'm just going to say something and it's going to cause more drama, that's not the first thing we think of when we say, you know, like when we witness police brutality or whatever. We don't go, hey, if I say this cop shouldn't have hit this person 1,000 times, that it's going to make more. No, you're going to be like, no, this is just a bad thing. I'm saying a good thing. And it should be like, why are you arguing with me? This is a good thing. What are we doing? Like that should be the response. And that's kind of how so I wanted to cut him some bail because I do believe in the idea of if you don't know enough about something to be quiet. If you have a really, really, really big platform, which he does, right? And you don't fully understand what is happening, I don't think you should just blurt out the first thing that pops in your mind. I remember like years ago with Kanye when he was like, you know, President Bush doesn't like black people. I understand his fervor for what he said. Based on what was happening at the time. But in his assessment was actually incorrect about why certain things weren't happening. I'm not going to get into that because that's a whole thing, but he was wrong on air to say that. As much as I wanted to co-sign, I was like, the reason that you're bringing up, if I'm being fair, it doesn't apply to this particular person, unfortunately. And so you just made a spectacle of yourself. And this happens a lot with celebrities where they just don't know what it is they're talking about and they just say whatever. So if his stance was like, you know what, especially on a press tour for a Disney film, I'm not going to just say whatever, totally fine. But when he gets into this idea of like the world is divided or the US is divided, blah, 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 blah. I'm like,
because when he started elaborating, it was like,
then it sounded like it sounded like baloney. This is malarkey. Like, it's like, you stand for what you stand for, okay? Like, if we're talking about Moana, if Moana's coming out, there's nothing wrong with you if you have your ideas and your views, but that's not what the tour is about. That's not what the press tour is about. That's not even necessarily what Moana is about. So and that's why I'm sitting here like, I don't know what caused this conversation to happen, because it seems weird. It seems misplaced. It seems like, how did this end up in the interview? Now, I know interviewers can be asking all kinds of questions and get people caught up.
Right.
But, you're being interviewed and you can just be like, bruh, next question. You want my interview?
I like to keep it on Moana. Right. Yeah.
Right.
And
because
my concern.
Yeah.
Sorry,
no. Say what you're going to say. Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say, my concern is if he was outspoken about Trump during his first term, which he was, what changed?
Right.
What changed your opinion? That you feel like you don't have a dog in this fight, so to speak? Not the best analogy, but like if you don't have like what you have to say does not matter. Or did someone pay you? Has something changed to where it's like you would rather stay silent when we actually need you and many, many others to speak up?
Exactly.
Right. And are you saying this because you're afraid of any type of backlash? You're afraid that certain people aren't going to go watch your films? Are you afraid that, these things are going to happen? Because that's understandable. But then that's where the idea of you being a coward comes in. And I don't know The Rock or whatever, but he seems like from what he gives off online.
Dwayne, come on the show and defend yourself. Come on.
Right.
Wonderful.
He seems like
come tell us.
He seems like a people pleaser. Like the way he responds is very holistic in the sense of like, I want everybody to be happy. And taking a stance on something means that some people aren't going to be happy, and it's okay for them not to be happy.
Based on what he'll tell you.
Right. Right. Based on what you're standing on. Like, I also understand him being like, the ballot box is between me. I do understand, because people keep that private anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we can get a sense of where you're going if you're like, hey, this law is terrible. Them removing this from schools is terrible. Them funding this is terrible. Them doing like all of that is fine. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's when I start to roll my eyes, when it's this whole like, someone said, I remember on Facebook, which is why I don't one of the reasons I don't go to Facebook anymore that much. It was talking about something that happened where race was involved. And it was like, there was a negative thing, and everybody who saw what happened was like, the officer was in the wrong. Like, just blanket wide, there's no room for debate. And people would go, I wish people would stop bringing up race. I wish people would stop doing this because it's tearing this country apart. And I'm like, so us mentioning that the person who was brutalized was black is the issue, not the actual brutal treatment, not the removal of rights, not the sanctioned murder. None of that. It bothers you. But the idea that me talking about this makes you uncomfortable, and because it makes you uncomfortable is somehow putting a divide. So your discomfort, because that's so important, more important than the lives of people who you call friend, you don't want us to talk about it. That's what you're saying.
Right.
That's what you're saying. Like, and that is like such a annoying. It's not whataboutism, but it's kind of close. Like, you are so stuck in this, like, I don't want to rattle the fence. I just kind of want to, hey, let's just go to the movies. Let's just go, to the concerts. Let's just go do these things. Let's live our lives. Let's not worry about these things. Like, I don't see color. And I'm like, these things are real. And going back to what you were saying about politics and humanity, like, my life, like, we use this fancy word politics, but it should be like pushed towards like the president or like Congress. That's politics, right? But people's lives are just that.
Yeah.
So this law affecting my life, that's just, stop and frisk in New York or whatever, when that was the thing, that affects people. Like, that's not politics. That's just our life. And the fact that, okay, you don't see color, incredibly stupid thing to say, but you don't see color. Well, the person who's, stomping all over my rights do, because they're picking me because of my color. So how does that actually help? And how does that bring people together? Because there's this whole fear of us splitting more apart. But what is bringing us together? What are you bringing that's going to make everybody kind of coexist nicely? And the only thing I can see is that you're going to be quiet.
Right.
That doesn't address the problem.
Nope.
because the people that are going to be doing the wrong thing are going to actively continue to do the wrong thing because no one is speaking up against them.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And so in this sense, Mr. Rock, I have to agree. That sounds kind of cowardly.
Yep.
I wouldn't say that to your face.
Mr. Rock.
I'm gonna say it to his face because he can't hit me. He can't punch me in the face. That's a battery. Okay. I'm not one of your little wrestling friends.
Okay.
Why did that have a black mama all over that?
Okay.
Not one of your little friends.
Not one of your little friends.
My hope is that The Rock, as many times as he portrays a hero and somebody who stands up for the little guy, and, you know, going in this bronze dude, just not bronze, but brawny dude, like just, you know, walking up and doing stuff. I hope that he would reconsider his stand and actually speak up and not only just speak up, but put his resources and his money where his mouth is, you know, since he don't want to say nothing. But I hope he starts to say some more stuff and speak out and actually portray and be what often the roles that he chooses to advocate for himself.
Right. And
yeah, that sucks.
And that, you know what I'm saying? And that's not, you know, and to like I said, you know, how much you want to do it or how little is on you, right? Because not everybody, you know, I was talking with Kai from Spawn on Me, and he was talking about how his, you know, I believe his grandmother was an activist, and he's like, it takes work. It takes a lot of work, and you still have a family and all this other things. Like, life's responsibility doesn't stop, right? So I'm not asking him necessarily to march. I'm not asking him to do certain things, but you know, any help is help, right? So if you're like, you know what, I don't think this is a good idea, like just on Twitter or whatever, that'll be picked up by whoever it gets picked up by, and then there's some traction there. You know what I'm saying? Donating money to certain things, like there's things that you can do as opposed to just being like, I'm just gonna be in my little bubble and promote the next movie, like, yeah, or not, you know, or not.